Interjection here from Nation of Warriors with 1v1 commentary number 22. This is another first-person commentary, meaning that I'll be playing as the British versus the Dutch on the map Yukon. Now, the first thing I'm going to look at is the crates which I've started with. I have 2 wood crates and 3 food crates. Sometimes when playing as the British, you can start with a 3rd wood crate, which I think is ideal because if we take a look at the British as a civilization, each and every time they build a manor house, they get a free settler. So the more wood you have, the more manor houses you can build, and the more free settlers you'll get to help your economy grow, and at that, help your economy grow at a faster rate than your opponents. Now, that is the British playstyle, being a little bit more boomy than some of the other civilizations. Going to build lots of manors, ship some settlers, and hopefully come in a bit later to win the game that way. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is build a manor house right over here on this herd. The sooner the better, really, because I want that free settler as fast as I can get it. And the reason I'm building it on the herd there is because in Age 2 it will gain a lot more line of sight, and then I'll be able to see any raids coming. If my opponent decides he's going to send some units over to kill some settlers, then I'll have a little bit of pre-warning, and I can move those settlers away or send my military units over and hopefully lose less settlers. Now, that manor being all the way out there does mean it's a little bit unprotected. I find it unlikely that my opponent will want to kill that manor, because I only get 20 of them, and the British can't delete their manors. So if he actually kills it, then I can build, an extra manor, and then I can have another free settler, which I otherwise wouldn't have had later on in the game. So basically, don't kill British manors unless you really want the kill XP, or if that manor is giving them really good advantageous line of sight, because you're only really helping them out. Now, you'll also notice that I built myself a market instead of a manor. Gonna grab myself the hunting dogs upgrade there, worth 50 coin, 50 wood, and it gives me a nice 10% bonus to food collection rates from huntable animals. Normally, I do think that the market and the upgrade is worth it instead of a second manor, but only if you can get the 50 coin and wood for the upgrade efficiently and with ease. For example, on the Great Plains, where you usually always start with at least 50 coin as an unguarded muskrat beaver treasure. There you go, all the coin you need, don't need to collect any for that upgrade. But as you can see here, I've collected 8 extra wood, and I think I collect a whole bunch of extra coin, which I just don't need because I'm not paying attention. It really devalues the market here by doing that. Now, because the map is Yukon, I've sent my explorer all the way over here, down the left-hand side of the map, gonna search for all the OP Imber BS treasures, like the 150 food. What the fuck is that? Who balanced this game? 150 food this early on is absolutely ridiculous. That treasure does exist on this map. It's guarded by 2 polar bears, not those 2 polar bears, unfortunately. But, want to kind of find myself some nice treasures. That's where all of the treasures spawn on this map. That is the way the map is generated, the way it's designed. And there is a 90 food treasure, but which I started to go for. I shot at the wolf, but then I had to run away because I saw my opponent was there, and all he's going to do is attack my explorer whilst the coyotes are attacking me, or the wolves rather. They're not coyotes here. And then he's going to steal my treasure as well, so this is not worth it. Instead, I'm going to go back and wait for him to collect it. Here I'm trying to creep. I've killed 2 wolves there, and then I'm going to get out, let them run away. I'm going to shoot the wolf there. I'm also herding. I'm going to shoot these deer back towards my town centre, and then go in here back to the wolf and kill these wolves there. Going to get that last one dead, and get out of the radius there. That's going to go back, shoot it again as it's on the way back, and then get a little bit closer to the treasure, shoot it. Don't want to kill it just yet. Want to make sure my opponent isn't like standing at the treasure ready to take it from me. Aging up with 4 cows there like a pro, and then I quickly delete the age up and get the tower age up with the 200 coin in queue. Now, I'm aging up with a tower because that is the British playstyle. I'm aiming to be very defensive, very boomy, and I'm going to need that tower to help protect my herds. Going to pop it up on a coin mine so I can garrison any units that are gathering next to the huntable animals or the coin mine. And also that tower, obviously, it shoots back. It makes it a little bit more difficult for my opponent to pressure me, and that 200 coin is going to help me get out some early military units to help defend my settlers with. Right now in the game, though, building another manor quite far out next to a faraway herd to give me a little bit more line of sight in Age 2, give me some pre-warning raids, and also all of my settlers are on wood. I got 100 food, got the bowsaw upgrade, which is just being completed now. That helps 10% gather to wood. I'm going to collect, obviously, enough wood for 2 manors and a military building. I'm going to build a stable, and I'll explain why in a bit, but right here, I'm waiting at this treasure, because I know I saw my opponent's explorer there, and he's most likely going to go and get that once his crack shot recharges. There he goes, the polar bear's attacking him, and now I'm going to run in there. I'm going to switch to melee mode, so that if my opponent tries to run away, he won't be able to run away, because units, when they're being attacked by something with the same speed in melee mode, their speed is reduced, so he won't be able to escape. And that polar bear is also attacking him. And then I'm going to steal the treasure, if I can. Now I'm going to switch all my settlers back to food. Have over-collected on the wood a little bit. Got 264 wood in my stockpile. 64 wood over, which I won't need. But obviously it's not going to be too much of a problem, because I can use that wood to build manors and such. Going to steal this treasure, and I swear I clicked it. You can go back and look. Absolutely so convinced convinced that I clicked it, but apparently I must have clicked the ground behind it or something by mistake. I don't know. Anyway, going to finish off that explorer there. Going to keep herding. Going to pop this town up. Going to get the settlers to collect the coin. Going to build a stable. All of these good things going on in Age 2. Sending 700 wood as my second colonial aid, well, my first colonial aid shipment, my second shipment overall. Going to use that to build another military building once that's up. Going to get the barracks up, so I'll have 2 military buildings. The British economy should allow me to support production from either or, and it's nice to have access to both units. I will be able to maintain production from both at one point, so both these buildings are good. I'm also going to use the excess wood to build a whole bunch of manors. Obviously, 700 wood is probably, well, it is the most cost-effective shipment, the best value for shipment in Age 2. Wood is the slowest gathering resource. Now you'll notice I have some settlers quite far out here. Obviously I'm using them to herd, going to bring these yaks closer towards my town, but they are a little bit far away, and that is not so good. Obviously, I've been playing a lot of British recently, and this is one of my earlier games, and really I've been starting to bring those settlers closer towards my town because they're so easily killed by just random cavalry units my opponent's trained. Here you can see he's got 5 cav coming in now, these 2 settlers. Should that upgrade going up now, I'm getting the steel coats upgrade, which increases settler hit points by 35%. Should have got that so much sooner because it saves so many lives when playing as British. Fortunately, though, he doesn't get either of those 2 settlers. One of them's very low hit points, but these 5 cavalry units popped out just in time, and fortunately, he managed to only get 4 out of his stable. You can obviously train 5, and I managed to train 5, but he only trained 4, meaning if we were to fight that fight, I would win it. Obviously, I have 1 more unit. And I'm also going to pursue these cavalry. You can see I'm in combat with one of them, just killed it there. Now, at this point in the game, I wasn't really sure what my opponent was trying to do. At the time, it really did look like a 5 hussar semi-FF, which means he trains 5 cavalry to run around and raid my settlers with, whilst he builds a whole bunch of banks, then goes to the Fortress Age to use his Fortress Age military and his decent economy to overpower me that way. Obviously, the hussars are going to kill some of my settlers and then, you know, weaken my economy and make it much easier for him to overpower me. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to create as many military units then. But here he is. He's come all the way back. He's now got 6 hussars. When I left him, he had 3 hussars, so he must have trained 3 more, or perhaps shipped 3, though I find that less likely. And I'm also training more hussars, though I do feel I could have put that musketeer in production sooner and have more musketeers instead of cavalry, because that way I can defend against raids more easily. I trained hussars because I wanted to do a little bit of raiding myself. I am playing defensively, but I do think raiding is quite a nice thing to do, even if you are playing defensively, especially against Dutch, because they're also quite boomy. They're not as likely to pressure me early on as some civilizations. So I think a cav start is completely practical at the moment. But I'm shipping 600 wood. I'll explain that in a moment, but first we can see he's sent some pikemen. It looks like the 8 pikemen shipment to me, and well, clearly he thinks I'm going cavalry, so he must have decided it's a good idea to send some pikemen. Not really convinced that was the best move on his behalf, because if you're going to pressure the British, it really is best to do that hard and fast early on in the game, or else, as I say, make some hussars, do a little bit of raiding, go fortress, and perhaps push with a Fortress Age military. Now, at my town centre, you can see that my 600 wood shipment has arrived. That is my 4th shipment so far. Oh, my 5 musketeers there, just getting absolutely slaughtered by my opponent's army. I sent them all the way over there into my opponent's military. Cringeworthy mistake there. I really apologise for that. Now, bringing back those 2 settlers so they don't die as well. Anyway, 600 wood is my 4th shipment. So far, I have sent 3 settlers at the very beginning of the game as my first shipment in Age 1. My second shipment was 700 wood, which I used to get a second military building up and to train manors with. Then I shipped 5 settlers, obviously, to get the boom going, and then 600 wood to build some more manors, keep that boom going, and next I'll probably ship 4 settlers. Now here's the first full-on contact in the game, and I must admit it's played extremely sloppily on both sides. Obviously, Blue was sending in his pikemen before his cavalry got there, and I was killing them, and now he's using his pikemen to kill my hussars, and really I should be microing a little bit more efficiently. Obviously, I should be using the musketeers to target the pikemen, and I should be making sure that my weak hussars, running them around so that his hussars are following them rather than attacking. There's a nice little bit of hussar micro going on. But really, this fight is just an absolute mess. Really not a lot of micro going on at all, I must be honest. But I do end up winning because I think he's left it far too late if he's going to push. And I don't think the Dutch push in Age 2 is particularly great versus British anyway. But Anyway, as I say, the Dutch, I don't really want to be putting too many value judgments on the game, but I definitely think Dutch is better in age 3. I'm now going to re-gear my economy and get ready to push because 4 settlers are about to arrive, and that is the last boomy shipment I can really send. Also going to train some longbowmen there. Nice to mix musketeers, longbowmen, and hussars. Have some 3-unit combinations going. And also longbowmen are going to, you know, musketeers aren't so great against skirmishers. Obviously I've got the hussars to help counter them, but longbowmen are pretty good, you know, much longer range, and a nice unit to mix in. Here's my opponent coming in for some raids. Anyway, at the 10-minute mark, it's nice to see how many settlers you've got. I've got 45 settler economy. Definitely think I could have been a lot more boomy this game. I think I'm about to lose one. Yeah, now 44 settler economy. There we go. Anyway, I could have, I haven't built nearly all of the manners I could have done, so perhaps instead of having so many units, so many settlers on coin and food, I could have had a few more on wood, could have got a few more manners up, because there really wasn't a lot of pressure this game, and when it came, it was quite late when I was able to cope with it anyway. My steel traps improvement is almost complete. Obviously that costs 125 wood, 125 coin. It gives me a 20% bonus to hunter gathering. Obviously from hunts. Not really sure when the best time to get that is though, because obviously it costs 125 wood, which I could spend on building a manor. So let me know what you think. It'd be nice to see your opinion. Losing a few settlers to some nasty raids here. I really think the 10-minute mark is a good indication of how well you boomed, because obviously your opponent's going to be trying to kill your settlers. It shows, you know, it kind of sums up how many manors you built to get free settlers from, and obviously the 5 and 4 settlers shipment. I just think it's a nice indication of how well the boom went. That team musketeer hit points has almost arrived. It gives me 15% hit points to my musketeers. It's quite a nice upgrade. You can also get the 15% attack for musketeers as well, so you can have increased hit points and attack. I always send the hit points one first because I think it has a more noticeable effect in a fight, though I can't be sure. But anyway, I end up getting both anyway, and you can have some pretty powerhouse musketeers, especially if you get the advanced arsenal, which isn't actually in my deck, but I've put it in since then because I've been playing British and decided that it is actually a decent card. It gives you more improvements, not just access to them earlier. So I think you get this thing called flintlock and paper cartridges, which increases gunpowder unit attack and hit points, both those respectively, of course. And then you get some really seriously powerful musketeers. Anyway, I just built a whole bunch of manors, collected all this extra wood which I had. Just need to get rid of it, use it up, and really I need to start pushing soon. I'm gonna start gearing up my economy, ready to go. Got the amalgamation upgrade, or whatever it is, the second coin mine upgrade that gives you 20% to coin collection rate, so it's nice to get all of these, finish off my boom, and start pushing. Obviously this is one of my earlier games, so you know, the British playstyle is still something new to me, and I'm not so great with it, so hopefully I can demonstrate some higher level British gameplay once I've gotten a little bit more skilled, once I've played a little bit more. But for this game, hopefully this gives you an indication of what's going on. Right now, there's not too much happening. If anything, I'm just massing up lots of military units ready to push, rearranging my settlers onto the resources I'll need to support the push, and also getting those last few market upgrades. My next shipment's just about to arrive, and I'm going to send the upgrade to musketeer damage, 15% to musketeer damage. And I've also got the musketeer of the HP upgrade, so I'm going to have some really seriously strong powerhouse musketeers here, which I can push with, musketeers being my primary unit. But also I've got lots of hussars in there, which I can use to counter. Obviously, my opponent's in age 3 now, so he'll have veteran skirmishers, and he's got the he can train falconets, etc. And also, I want to train a few more longbowmen. I don't make too many, but I definitely think longbowmen should be trained to support your musketeers. Obviously, longbowmen can outrange skirmishers, and they can support your units in countering skirmishers. And also, obviously, longbowmen have a multiplier versus ranged cavalry, which my opponent, the Dutch, is notorious for making. Obviously, the Reuter. Anyway, the push is really going to start getting going here. Making a few longbowmen there, not too many. Would like more, but hey, I definitely think I should have pushed a lot sooner. Obviously, when I defeated my opponent in my base when he pushed and pushed him back. Then I had a military advantage because obviously I killed all of his units, and then I had him on the retreat. So I should have really pushed then, squandered that advantage. Right here though, my opponent's obviously clearly running out of coin. I've just killed 3 settlers, and he's building an outpost there. I'm just going to send my hussars in to get rid of these cannons, but I get absolutely screwed by the pathing. There's trees in the way, his hussars in the way, and now my musketeers in the way, and it's just an absolute mess right again. Really not a nice battle going on here, but I've got the musketeer, both the musketeer home city upgrades, so I'm going to use them just to absolutely destroy the cannons, just going to shoot them. It's really not a cost-effective way to get rid of cannons, but it works since I've got such powerful musketeers and so many of them. And here I've just totally outmassed my opponent. Really just going to go in all for it now. I'm now sending 700 coin, and the idea at the time was to use the coin to age up, get to age 3, get the veteran musketeer upgrade, bring me access to falconets, veteran hussars, etc, etc, all those nice things that come in the fortress age, another town centre, whatever else. Not that I'd need another town centre since I have so many settlers right now, but really I think 700 coin isn't a great idea, because I think, well, now that I've played British a few more times since I made this commentary, I think well, not the team, but the cavalry hand upgrade, defense upgrade, the hit points upgrade for cavalry, that's a nice card to have in the British deck as well, especially since I trained so many cavalry. I also think the advanced arsenal is quite a nice upgrade. 700 coin, I'm really not sure on anymore, because the British can probably collect enough coin to get to age 3 off their own back, since I have like 61 settlers now. Getting to the fortress age without the help of crate shouldn't really be too much of a problem. Here the fight's really going to get going. He's got lots of Reuters. I imagine he saw all my cavalry. Reuters are a nice unit that the Dutch have access to. Pretty cheap, cost-effective unit, nice to have. Going to bring the hussars back. Really, they shouldn't be so far forward anyway. Just going to put these other units back into control groups. I have control 1 for my ranged infantry, so like light ranged infantry, like longbowmen, crossbowmen, skirmishers, that kind of thing. Control 2 for my musketeers, control 3 for my cavalry, control 4 for any artillery, though I don't have any artillery, I'm in the colonial age. Anyway, running out of food, actually, running out of hunts, and it's really not a great idea to have so many settlers over there next to those hunts, because it's quite easy for him to raid that, and you get a ton of kills. So I'm building an outpost there just for a little bit of extra defense to protect my units, but you know, at some point I'm going to have to consider mills, although I am pushing right now, so I'd rather not, you know, build mills, because that means I'd have to collect a lot of wood, build a whole bunch of houses, sorry, a whole bunch of mills, which means I won't be collecting the resources I need to train military units to keep this push going. Anyway, right there, I was going to kill a whole bunch of settlers with the hussars, which was really good, and then he brings his Reuters over, which isn't so good, because Reuters really do counter cavalry quite nicely, but hussars do 30 attack damage, and it doesn't matter what they're attacking, they do 30 attack damage, so, you know, Reuters or not, whether they counter me or not, I'm doing 30 damage to them, and that's pretty damn good, so I'm not too fussed that my hussars are actually doing damage. But generally speaking, you can hit and run quite nicely with Reuters. I mentioned control groups earlier, so for anyone who doesn't know, who's perhaps new to the game, here's an explanation. Putting your units into control groups means that when you press a number on your keyboard, it will select all of the units you put into that group. To do that, just drag a box around all of the units you want to put in that group, and then press control 1 or 2, whatever number you want, and then when you press that number, you'll be able to select those units. Now, my advanced church has just arrived, the Glorious Revolution. Now, when I build a church, I will have access to an upgrade that decreases my infantry speed by, I think, 15 or 20%, something like that, and increases their hit points by 20 or 25%, something like that. That's a pretty cool card. It gives you a lot more hit points. It can be pretty good in the middle of a fight if it arrives just as a fight's about to start, though I really don't like it because it does reduce the speed by a hell of a lot, and it's really not great at all. It means you can't really escape very well. Other people can it means other people's musketeers will be much more effective on you, kind of like the Ashigaru musketeers if you watch my previous commentary. Anyway, it also gives you access to the Black Watch, which is kind of like a mercenary shipment worth 1,000 food, giving you what I think is 9 Highlanders. Now, that's pretty decent. It's pretty cost effective, that. And it also gives you Rogers Rangers in the Industrial Age, which is, I think, 26 Guard Skirmishers for 2,000 coin, which is also really cost effective and a nice thing to pop when you need some extra military units. It's a nice thing to go age 3-4 in combination with the 3 rockets that are in my deck, or you know, etc. Was it Redcoat Musketeers, that kind of thing. But anyway, back to the game. Still just pushing now. I think the game's almost over, and I think he's gonna, you know, pop his last stand and just see where it goes. Obviously, I'm still playing though. Gonna set up my economy for late game. Gonna go mills. Got to get the upgrades for the mills. Getting getting the trading posts. Gonna get the trading post upgrade. It's still worth doing. Obviously, I get the trading posts a lot sooner with other civilizations, but with the British, not too sure, because obviously you might as well spend that wood on manors. Here he's popped 2 falconets. I guess this is his last stand. But really, 2 falconets is just easy to take down with these really like tons of musketeers that are upgraded, and it's not even a cost of it's not even bad in terms of cost efficiency there. Another thing with the British I'm not too sure on is when to go age 3. At the moment I have 2 shipments lined up, so really it would have been worth going age 3 for me, because then I can start sending those age 3 shipments, which are much better. There's another musketeer upgrade, there's 2 falconets, all sorts of things I can send. Here I'm just checking the settler graph. There's definitely no huge drops on there, which is good, but I did stop training settlers for longer periods of time during the game, which isn't too good really. I want to be maintaining settler production all the way until the end of the game. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please throw it a like. That really is appreciated. If you're a newcomer, then remember to subscribe. I do upload fairly regularly, hopefully this summer anyway. I'm aiming for 1 video every other day and at least 3 videos a week. If you're interested in joining Nation of Warriors, do get in contact or just connect to our TeamSpeak 3 server. The server address is in the description of this video.